Got a question on TikTok about how a landlord basically has to handle a deceased tenant's property. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Boy on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, got this question on TikTok. It seemed like to me, basically, from the understanding of the situation was that the tenant had passed away. I'm assuming that they were the only tenant of this rental unit. And I guess the questionnaire is like the family member of the tenant, basically. They're trying to claim property, but the landlord basically advised tenant's family that, hey, we can't give you the property at least for 40 days, and you have to fill out an affidavit and attach a death certificate. Okay. What this procedure is under the probate code. There are procedures for transferring personal and real property, for that matter, under a certain dollar limit. Basically, I believe right now the dollar limit is like $187,500. I think it's going to increase significantly April 1. I think it's like $750,000. I've been out of the probate world for a little bit of time, but this is basically what's called like an affidavit to transfer personal property. And the probate code does allow for this procedure if a declarant declares that, hey, they are the lawful person to receive the property on behalf of the deceased tenant. They have to basically declare certain facts that, hey, they're not there's no one else claiming the property. They're entitled to collect the property either via through a will, if they're like the named beneficiary of a will or of a trust, they can collect the property there. Or if there is no will or trust, that you are an heir at law, and at least 40 days has to pass for that to happen. Plus, you have to attach a certified death certificate of the deceased tenant. And there's some other requirements. The reason is for the 40 days is to make sure that there is no probate administration, basically. So if there's a probate administration, and if there was an executor or an executrix, if there is a will, if there is no will, they're called an administrator. Basically, the law calls them, these parties, personal representatives. So if there is an administration going on in court, you have to get consent from the personal representative. And if there is a dispute about who and the property belongs to or what, prudent counsel is probably going to tell you, hey, you need to get an order from the probate court who gets what, because I'm not going to get involved with it. Landlords and people that follow the affidavit procedure to the law, basically, if they release property, they're going to be immune for liability. And I think this is why the landlord has, in this scenario here, secured the property, basically told tenant's family, listen, we're going to have to wait for 40 days as required under the probate code. And this is probate code 13100 in sequential. There's a bunch of different sub rules on this. Just give you the nuts and bolts of it. That's probably what's happening here. Out of my career, I probably had to do this procedure once, because literally we had, it was a couple of years ago, I think it was like during COVID, we had a sole tenant. They passed away in the unit, basically. Landlord gets, I think, notified. It was like they got notified by like the coroner's office or something. Hey, the tenant passed away. And basically at that point, landlord secured the property, did the affidavit procedure. No one really came up except like there was like the daughter of the property. She collected that stuff. There was no probate or anything, because a lot of people's estates are under the threshold for doing like a full-blown probate administration. So that's kind of where that came about. So I think, and that's what happened in this case here. And it sounds like they're following the probate code. So landlords, if you do have a deceased tenant, that's what you're going to have to follow here. And you're going to need some special, help dealing with that, because it's very nuanced what documentation's needed. This affidavit has to be notarized. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're going through this in the Northern California area, feel free to reach out. We might be able to help out. Put your comments, questions down below. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.